Regular people who looked at all the evidence said he was innocent, but the media kept treating him like he was guilty anyway. Now we're in 2024, 2025, 2026. The Epstein files start dropping. Smoking gun. Johanna Sjoberg, one of Epstein's victims, gave a deposition under oath. She was asked directly, "Did you ever have sexual contact with Michael Jackson?" No.
Wow.
Did you ever give Michael Jackson a massage? No. An Epstein victim, who had every reason to tell the truth, cleared Michael Jackson completely.
Today on Fellow Gen Z Brit, born in the 2000s, is a very curious man. Is going to be checking out. They called Michael Jackson a P until they saw this. Guys, this video is going to be a bomb, as I'm sure many of you guys are aware of the Epstein files that were recently released. What was it, over 3 million documents, and there's been so many individuals that have been listed in them, including Michael Jackson and countless others. And this video specifically is going to be not only uncovering some of that information that was related to Michael Jackson, but potentially even giving a different perspective to the narrative that may not even be true about Michael Jackson, especially when it comes to things relating young children. Now, I haven't seen it in its entirety, so I don't know if every single thing in this video is going to be hands down factual. So just a disclaimer, but nonetheless, we're going to check it out together and see what it's all about. So with that being said, guys, let's jump on in.
Michael Jackson's name just appeared in the Jeffrey Epstein documents.
Keep in mind there are sections that are still redacted because one of the victims may have been as young as 13 at the time of the alleged crimes. Now, some of these big names in the new documents include former presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, magician David Copperfield, and England's Prince Andrew. Now, even though we have video of former President Trump partying with Epstein seen here, keep in mind none of these high-profile people named in the newly released documents face any charges of wrongdoing.
And the internet lost its mind. Michael Jackson was with Epstein? Headlines everywhere. Social media exploded. Everyone's got an opinion. But here's what nobody's talking about.
I would imagine you believe that children are being abused by in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
Who you said, by the way, did not abuse
Who
you.
Michael was innocent, and that was what the interview was about with the police in 1993. I told them he is not that guy, and they said, well, maybe you just don't understand your friend. And I said, no, I know the difference between pedophiles and somebody who's not a pedophile because I've been molested. Here's the names. Go investigate. And let me push this forward. There are thousands of people in Hollywood who have this same information. Why is it all on me? Why is it if I don't release the names in the next 2 months, 6 months, or a year, I'm the bad guy? I'm the victim here. I'm the one who's been abused. I'm the one who's trying to come forward and do something about it.
But
Hold on, please, I'm sorry. There are thousands of people out there, Matt, who have this information. Any one of those child actors that went to the teenage soda pop clubs with me when I was a kid know who those people are and the people who ran it. Anybody can go back through history and look at the teen magazines and say, what was the name of that venue they were all promoting, and who ran that venue, and who endorsed it?
Because there's another
He was going off on that interview. I'm curious now as to see what were those venues that he was sort of referring to. I'll be curious if any of you guys are able to figure it out. I know you got some detectives here, man, because this is, and he was a very popular individual from back in the day. I've seen him in the Goonies. This is him much older, but we're talking about a child star here. Like, he is not no average Joe. Like,
Name of that venue they were all promoting, and who ran that venue, and who endorsed it.
Because there's another story. A story that's been buried for decades. A story about a man who tried to protect children from the real predators in Hollywood, and those same predators destroyed him for it. You see, while Michael Jackson's name is being dragged through the mud again, there's a Hollywood pedophile ring that's still operating, still protected, still hidden. And the man who tried to expose them? Corey Feldman. One of the biggest child stars of the 80s. The Goonies, Stand By Me, Lost Boys.
big
Saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And he said,
And they
wait,
do
let me
not
not even
want-
skip over the fact that he also mentioned that he had also been used because, and he said thousands of people would know what he's talking about. That's some deep stuff that he was saying in that interview. And the fact that he went to the police and they weren't really doing much about it, like, this is mad. This is mad.
They're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
Yes.
That's what. Yeah, and that's what you were saying in your book. When you talk to when you talk to
They don't want
parents,
me here right now. Trust
Corey,
me. They want me dead.
there are a lot of parents out here who want to put their kids in this business. Their kids are cute, they're great actors. What would you say to a parent who just has the best of intentions, who's coming here with their child? If you're saying that there's a lot of predators in this industry.
It's a many-feathered bird, okay? Be careful what you wish for. That's what I'll tell you. You know, don't go into it with naivety. Don't go into it thinking that it's all roses and
You're
sunglasses.
damaging an entire industry.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say that it's a very important, serious topic.
You said that there was one gentleman in the industry who did not take advantage of you. He was not a pedophile. You said it was Michael Jackson.
Of all people.
He was abused by this ring. And
This
you know
guy's
who
out here talking about the tragic experience, and her first reaction was to say you're tarnishing an entire industry. Like you said, disgusting. Like the fact that that's the first thought that came to your head after he said that. I mean, that's just vile, man. Like that's just like, what is? Do you not have any empathy and humanity inside of you to see that someone who's making some accusations here, like he's saying some deep stuff, and the first thing you're thinking is you're damaging an entire industry? Like, what the heck is wrong with that woman? She's more focused on the industry rather than what this guy is saying, regardless of whether she thinks it's true or not. Like, I mean, that just shows you where her head is at. And I mean, if you ask me, that's probably proven more his point as to what he's saying already. If we got people that are responding like that to what he's saying, that's mad.
Serious topic.
You said that there was one gentleman in the industry who did not take advantage of you. He was not a pedophile. You said it was Michael Jackson.
Of all people.
He was abused by this ring. And you know who wasn't part of it? Michael Jackson. In fact, Feldman says being with Michael Jackson was his happy place, the one place in Hollywood where he felt safe from the predators. So let me show you what really happened, because this isn't about Michael Jackson being in the Epstein files. This is about how they framed the wrong guy to protect the right ones. And look, I know this is going to make some people mad. I know some of you came here thinking I'm going to defend a guilty man, but stick with me, because what I'm about to show you is going to change everything you thought you knew. Before we talk about Michael Jackson, you need to understand who Corey Feldman is. 1980s. Corey Feldman is everywhere. The Goonies, Stand By Me, The Lost Boys, Gremlins, Friday the 13th, one of the most famous child actors in Hollywood. Living the dream, right? Except he wasn't. Because while Corey was making movies, he was also being passed around by a pedophile ring that operated at the highest levels of Hollywood. Listen to what he said in 2017. I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is
Saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
not just him. His best friend, Corey Haim, also a massive child star, was raped at age 11 on a movie set. Feldman says he knows every person who abused Haim, and Haim knew every person who abused Feldman. They were being trafficked, groomed, exploited by powerful men in the industry. Now here's where it gets crazy. And in 1993, when the first allegations against Michael Jackson came out, Feldman went to the police.
Send Michael Jackson to jail. Secret police tapes. Child star Corey Feldman grilled by cops. Cops who seemed determined to get Feldman to say he was molested by Michael Jackson.
Believe me when I tell you that if there was something that I've been hiding for all these years, then I would want nothing more than to bring it out right now.
Molested him, and they didn't seem to care.
If I were doing these things, he certainly would never let some outside person like that see him.
Child star Corey Feldman and the secret police
Got the actual
obtained
tapes.
exclusively by CJ. Hello everyone, I'm Holly Herbert. The 80s star and the cops who seem to strongly believe he was a victim of Michael Jackson. James Les Mitchell has the never-before-heard tape that could rock Jackson's molestation trial.
Nothing ever happened with Michael.
You are listening to an interview between actor Corey Feldman and Santa Barbara Sheriff, obtained exclusively by Celebrity Justice, recorded in December 1993. In it, Corey states not once, but numerous times, his friend Michael Jackson, who he hung out with, didn't do anything improper with him.
If there was something that I've been hiding for all these years, then I would want nothing more than to bring it out right now to make sure that Michael got the help that he needed.
Right.
Our last weekend together, Feldman
making a point.
as a child star in the 80s with The Goonies and Stand By Me. He was just wrapping up National Lampoon's Last Resort at the age of 22 when he was grilled by Sergeant Deborah Linden and a detective looking to bolster their molestation case against Jackson involving another boy. On the tape, they hammer in on Corey's deep friendship with the superstar.
What concerns me about it is that if there is something, if something did happen and you're not telling us, then that you wouldn't because of that.
No, I can't put myself in the position of thinking the person who molested me if this was him. You know?
Not to accuse Jackson, but to name the actual predators. You know what the police said? We don't care about that. We only want information on Michael Jackson. Let that sink in for a second. Corey Feldman, a victim of an actual Hollywood pedophile ring, went to the police with names, real abusers, people who were hurting kids right at that moment, and they told him they only wanted dirt on Michael Jackson. They weren't interested in protecting children. They were interested in one target. And that should tell you everything you need to know about what's really going on here. So where does Michael Jackson fit into all this? Here's what Corey Feldman said about him. Michael Jackson's world, crazy as it sounds, had become my happy place. He was adamantly against drugs and alcohol. I couldn't even swear around him. Being with Michael brought me back to my innocence. When I was with him, it was like being 10 years old again.
Got Michael Jackson as a close friend, and I play Michael Jackson my song What's Up with the Youth, and he says, Corey, that's a #1 song. That song literally can go to #1, and if you let me, I will walk it into Tommy Mottola at CBS Records right now, and I will make that song #1. And I was like, thank you, Michael, I really appreciate that, but no, I'm good.
Why no?
Well, because one, I was a real friend to him, and I didn't want him to think that I was just another leech sucking off of his teat to try to get something. You know, that wasn't my intention. My intention was to play him a song and see if he liked it and what he thought. And to hear Michael Jackson tell you that the song's a hit and could be #1, what else do you need?
Did he want to sing it?
No, he wanted to help me go to that place.
Do you regret that you didn't let him do that?
Sure, there's parts of me that go, damn it, it could have been so much easier.
Read that again. Corey Feldman, who was being abused by multiple men in Hollywood, said Michael Jackson's world was his safe place. No drugs, no alcohol, no profanity, no abuse. Jackson understood what it was like to grow up in the spotlight, to have your childhood stolen, to be surrounded by predators. Because Jackson went through it too. His father was abusive. The industry chewed him up from age 5. He knew what these kids were going through. So he created Neverland Ranch, a place where child stars could just be kids again. No industry pressures, no adults with bad intentions. And Macaulay Culkin said the same thing. He slept at Neverland dozens of times. I never saw anything. He never did anything.
We have to cover it, so let's ask about it. What's the relationship that you had with Michael Jackson?
Had or have? I mean,
had both.
You know, whatever.
Let's go with had.
Listen, no, he's a good friend of mine, and he still is. I mean, everything that's going on, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation for everyone involved, and you know.
How did you first get to meet him?
I first met him. He kind of called me randomly, like out of the blue. He just kind of like, hi. It's Michael. And it's like, hey. And the thing is,
this was after Home Alone?
This is after Home Alone. I actually had met him before I was doing Nutcracker at Lincoln Center. I was playing Fritz, and he came backstage one day, and I actually met him very briefly. And he kind of recognized me because it was after I'd done Uncle Buck, and so he kind of mentioned something. And then he calls me up kind of out of the blue, and it's kind of just this weird random thing. And he was like, why don't you come over to my house? And the thing is, I didn't react to him the way most people did. Most people were like, Michael Jackson. And, you know, I mean, he was a god to people. And to me, he was, you know, I knew he was a pop singer, but beyond that, you know, I wasn't one of the fans. I think that's one of the reasons why we connected, was the fact that, you know, believe me, I call him a jerk all the time. I call him a fathead and this and that, you know, and he gets it.
Your brother knew him too?
Yeah, no, we all did. I mean, he was, you know, a family friend.
What happened at the house? That's what all these things that people
you know, that's what's so weird, you know.
What did happen?
Nothing happened, you know. I mean, nothing really. I mean, we played video games, you know. We you know, played it at an amusement park. Well, the thing is with that whole thing is that, you know, they go, oh, you slept in the same bedroom as him. It's like, I don't think you understand. Michael Jackson's bedroom is 2 stories. And it has like like 3 bathrooms and this and that. So when I slept in his bedroom, yeah, but you have to understand the whole scenario. And the thing is with Michael is that he's not very good at explaining himself, and he never really has been, because he's not a very social person. I mean, you're talking about someone who's been sheltered and sheltering himself also for the last like 30 years, or and so he's not very good at communicating to people and not very good at conveying what he's actually trying to say to you. And so when he says something like that, people, he doesn't quite understand why people react the way that they do.
Wade Robson, who later...
the crazy part about that as well is, like, I even know when I was growing up, because bear in mind, like, I'm a 2000s kid, yeah. But by the time I started listening to music, Michael Jackson wasn't even here with us. Rest in peace to him. But it's to say, like, a lot of what I was hearing about Michael Jackson was things that are being rehashed later on about his past. And, I'm pretty sure there was like a Netflix documentary or some sort of documentary or series along those lines that came out about him in relation to, I guess, uncovering the dark truth behind Michael Jackson or whatever. And especially, I remember hearing about Macaulay Culkin and Michael Jackson potentially could have done some horrible things towards him or even just other children in general. Like, there was this whole thing like, don't leave your kids around Michael Jackson. But like, I was hearing a lot of that. So this is the first time I'm kind of coming across a whole different perspective of how that whole thing could have potentially been completely fabricated, potentially. And if it was fabricated, then you gotta ask yourself, why was it fabricated? Why were people trying to pin things on Michael Jackson? Right? Like, was Michael Jackson supposed to be a distraction? Was he the scapegoat, or was this like a trick out the bag to get people to stop focusing on something else? I mean, look, I'm just speculating here because obviously in hindsight we've got now the whole Epstein stuff being released, and we saw what's been in those files. So in light of that, you kind of have to look at these things with a really critical eye.
The Leaving Neverland documentary testified under oath in 2005 that Jackson never touched him. He defended Jackson for 20 plus years.
You're telling us nothing happened, is that right?
Yes.
All right, what you're really telling us is nothing happened while you were awake. Isn't that true?
I'm telling you that nothing ever happened.
Mr. Robson, when you were asleep, you wouldn't have known what had happened, particularly at age 7, would you have?
I would think something like that would wake me up.
Okay. Okay, compose yourself. The prosecution's theory is that this witness that they didn't call, but who they say was molested, didn't remember because he was asleep when it happened. Is that right?
The prosecution's theory is if they're called by the Jackson camp, they must be lying. Gee, doesn't that sound familiar? First of all, I remember Wade Robson. I talked to Wade Robson. Okay. I remember this kid very well, and some of the other witnesses will see. And he was as strong as he could be 12 years ago as he is now with respect to what happened.
And this is the witness who the maid said she saw with Michael Jackson in the shower. Is that correct?
Yes.
So he flatly contradicts that. He appears to be very credible. He says, no, that didn't happen. And this maid, of course, received money from Michael Jackson and therefore has a motive.
And let's remember that testimony, she doesn't say she specifically sees him. Remember, it was foggy in the shower. Yes. She may have saw 2 people, wasn't quite sure, testified she couldn't tell, and now...
Even Aaron Carter, before he died, said Jackson was an amazing guy, and his accusers were full of crap.
Child molestation charges are about to be officially filed. I talked with teen pop star Aaron Carter, who has witnessed Michael's private behavior. One of Jackson's celebrity friends is pop singer Aaron Carter. For a while, Carter lived nearby the Neverland Ranch. He gave me his first-hand account into the King of Pop's love life.
What are your thoughts on everything Michael's been going through and all the accusations now against him?
I think it's stupid, because I know for a fact he likes girls. Trust me.
Okay, how do you know for a fact that he likes girls?
Because I've seen him with girls. I've seen him walk up to a girl, and get her number, and call her up and talk to her.
Wow.
And say, hey, baby, what are you doing?
Michael Jackson asking for a girl's number?
Hold hands with a girl?
Yeah, I've seen him kiss a girl before. Oh, yeah, I've seen him totally make out with a girl before.
Where was that? Was that at his ranch, or?
I was at his ranch, yeah.
Do you know who the girl was?
Just like a fan or something.
You hung out with him when you were how old the first time?
I was 14.
Were there children there when you were visiting?
There were about 5 or 6 kids there.
And you never saw anything inappropriate?
No, I never saw it.
Now think about this for a second. If Michael Jackson was creating a safe haven for children, who were being abused by Hollywood elites, he became a threat because these kids trusted him. They might tell him what was happening, and Jackson, who had the biggest platform in the world, might expose the whole thing. So what do? You destroy him first. 1993, Michael Jackson is at the peak of his career. Dangerous world tour. Biggest star on the planet. Then comes the Jordan Chandler allegation. Jordan's father, Evan Chandler, a dentist and failed screenwriter, accused Jackson of molesting his 13-year-old son. But here's what you didn't know. Before going to the police, Evan Chandler called Jackson's team and demanded $20 million. Said if Jackson didn't pay, he'd go public. That's not a victim seeking justice. That's extortion. Jackson refused to pay, so Chandler went to the media. The police launched a massive investigation, raided Neverland Ranch, interviewed hundreds of children who'd been around Jackson. You know what they found? Nothing.
Just when you thought you knew everything there was to know about the often bizarre life of Michael Jackson, more information is revealed. The FBI has released more than 300 pages of formerly classified documents relating to the late King of Pop, including details regarding his child molestation cases. It's also come out a man allegedly obsessed with Jacko's sister Janet threatened to kill the star and thousands of his fans if he wasn't given half of the singer's fortune. In one letter dated in July 1992, the man states he will personally attempt to kill if he isn't paid his money.
Zero evidence. No photos, no videos, no witnesses. The FBI, who monitored Jackson from 1993...
This is like wild stuff. Like, I mean, look, I haven't looked into the ins and outs myself, right? But from just going off with this video alone, like this is sounding really sus.
And paid his money.
Zero evidence. No photos, no videos, no witnesses. The FBI, who monitored Jackson from 1993 to 2005, concluded not one scrap of evidence.
Why would the FBI have a 300-page file on Jackson? Turns out many celebrities routinely end up finding themselves under FBI scrutiny. There are FBI files on Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, Martin Luther King, even former Supreme Court Justice William Rehnquist. Many involve threats. The new FBI files detail how Michael Jackson received from a man obsessed with his famous sister Janet. In a series of bizarre letters, which included threats against President George Herbert Walker Bush, Frank Paul Jones writes he'd commit mass murder at a Michael Jackson concert, if necessary, in an attempt to murder Michael. Jones was eventually arrested outside the home of Jackson's parents.
And remember Corey Feldman? When he tried to give police the names of actual abusers in 1993, they said, "We don't want that. We only want Michael Jackson." The investigation wasn't about finding predators. It was about finding one specific name. Now, I want you to really think about that. The police had a victim, Corey Feldman, telling them about a pedophile ring, with names, with evidence,
and they say no.
with other victims who could testify. And they said, no thanks, because they only wanted Michael Jackson. When they couldn't find evidence, Jackson settled the civil case for $23 million. Not because he was guilty, but because the trial would have destroyed his career either way. Evan Chandler got his money. Jordan Chandler refused to testify in the criminal case. The investigation closed. Years later, Jordan Chandler tried to legally separate from his father, saying the whole thing had destroyed his life. Evan Chandler, he committed suicide in 2009, 5 months after Michael Jackson died. But the damage...
Okay, that's, that is, you don't wish that on anyone, right? No, but God, that's actually deep. Like, even when I've recently just did a deep dive into Michael Jackson's career and seeing just how much any little thing he did would get blown into a massive headline, and oftentimes with a negative spin that completely distorted whatever the truth was, and how that plagued him throughout his entire career. It definitely opened up my eyes in the sense that when you're if not the most popular individual on the planet, settle the case, like a lot of people can look at it as like an admission of guilt. But then in Michael Jackson's case, it's like you've got to consider that he's at that level where settling the case for him actually might be the better option, because the alternative could be way worse, even if he is innocent.
Wanted Michael Jackson. When they couldn't find evidence, Jackson settled the civil case for $23 million. Not because he was guilty, but because the trial would have destroyed his career either way. Evan Chandler got his money. Jordan Chandler refused to testify in the criminal case. The investigation closed. Years later, Jordan Chandler tried to legally separate from his father, saying the whole thing had destroyed his life. Evan Chandler, he committed suicide in 2009, 5 months after Michael Jackson died. But the damage was done. Jackson's reputation was shattered. The weirdo who sleeps with kids narrative stuck, and the real predators still operating, still protected. Fast forward to 2003, another accusation. This time from Gavin Arvizo, a 13-year-old cancer survivor. The case goes to trial in 2005, the biggest celebrity trial in history. But this time, Jackson doesn't settle. He fights. The prosecution brings everything. They accuse Jackson of molesting Gavin, giving him alcohol, holding the family captive. They interview ex-employees who claim they saw Jackson with boys. They bring up the 1993 case. They paint Jackson as a serial predator. But then the defense starts. Macaulay Culkin testifies. I slept in his bed dozens of times. Nothing ever happened.
Once in his life, Michael Jackson was not the center of attention, even though this has been a crucial day in his trial. The focus instead was on the defense's first celebrity witness, the actor Macaulay Culkin. The prosecution had suggested that in the early 1990s, he was one of a number of young boys who had been sexually abused by Jackson.
Macaulay Culkin almost single-handedly devastated and shook the foundation of the prosecution's pattern evidence against Michael Jackson.
Certainly, if the jury believes Culkin, it will be a significant boost for the defense and would undermine two prosecution witnesses who have already testified they saw Jackson inappropriately touching the actor.
Wade Robson testifies. He never touched me. The allegations are ridiculous.
You're telling us nothing happened, is that right?
Yes.
All right, what you're really telling us is nothing happened while you were awake. Isn't that true?
I'm telling you that nothing ever happened.
Mr. Robson, when you were asleep, you wouldn't have known what had happened, particularly at age 7, would you have?
I would think something like that would wake me up.
Chris Tucker testifies. I warned Michael about the Arvizo family. They were con artists, trying to take advantage of him.
Michael, can you say why you have decided not to testify?
No comment.
No
comment. No comment.
Michael, glad to see you, old friends.
No comment.
Why won't you testify, Michael?
No comment.
Crazy.
And then the jury hears about the Arvizo family's history. Janet Arvizo, Gavin's mother, had previously accused JCPenney of assault and settled for $150,000. She changed her story multiple times, snapped her fingers at the jury, was combative on the stand. The timeline didn't make sense. Gavin claimed the abuse happened after the Martin Bashir documentary aired, when the entire world was watching Jackson. Think about that. He's saying Jackson molested him when cameras were literally following him around, when the whole world was looking at him under a microscope. Does that make any sense to you? The jury deliberated for 32 hours. June 13, 2005, not guilty, on all 14 counts. Every single one.
Wow. Let a go free. Here now the pressure you never saw behind closed doors. Was the jury one big happy family when you went into the deliberation room?
I think prior to deliberations, I think that there was some camaraderie. It wasn't really until we got into the deliberation room and found out what was in people's minds that we realized that we're not all in the same key here.
So it really surprised me when everybody seemed to turn and get so mean. You go back into the jury room, start deliberating. After a few hours, you have sort of an unofficial vote. What were the results?
About 2/3 of the jury were considering Michael Jackson as not guilty at that time.
And where were you?
I was on the guilty side.
No, you were the first one to say guilty. Guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
She said it in a big way.
I said
right away.
I said it in a big way, and they came after me with a vengeance. I really got attacked.
How so?
I didn't understand. I didn't know. I was too old.
And there was a third juror, Katerina Carls, a 39-year-old county government worker who tells us that she too initially believed Jackson was guilty.
Very bright.
She was very bright. She had taken a lot of notes. She knew exactly what was going on. And it amazed me when one of the other jurors challenged this particular juror that she may not really know too much about the American justice system because she had only been a citizen for 2 years.
How tough did it get for the two of you and this other juror? There you are, 3 of you holding out, and the other 9 are living.
You wind up thinking, okay, if I stay with my convictions that I believe that Michael Jackson is a child molester and that he did in fact molest this accuser, then what's the next thing that could happen?
The foreman later said, "We expected better evidence. It just wasn't there." Another juror, The prosecution's case was weak. The mother was not credible. Michael Jackson was completely vindicated. But you know what the media did? Kept calling him Wacko Jacko, kept making jokes, kept pushing the narrative, because the truth didn't matter. The damage was already done. And here's what makes...
At that point with Michael Jackson, like, genuinely the truth doesn't matter. Like, just keep running the lies, like, people are gonna latch onto it. Literally, and even I was one of them. When I remember growing up, I was thinking, didn't Michael Jackson apparently, like, because when you're, I mean, I'm 15 at this time, like, you don't really, I'm not focusing on whether it's true or not. I just hear it, oh, Michael Jackson got accused of this, yeah, I guess he's a, you know what now, and you run with the headlines, like, you don't know any better. But obviously, I'm talking about me being a child. I'm sure there's many people who are a lot older who already probably thought, I don't know, someone like Michael Jackson, he had his kids there, that must be weird, right? And it's like, yeah, it's dark, man. When you're at Michael Jackson's level, the truth does not even matter. The damage has already been done.
Pushing the narrative, because the truth didn't matter. The damage was already done. And here's what makes me angry about this whole thing. A jury of his peers, regular people who looked at all the evidence, said he was innocent. But the media kept treating him like he was guilty anyway. Now we're in 2024, 2025, 2026. The Epstein files start dropping. January 2024, Michael Jackson's name appears. Media goes crazy. December 2025, more files. Photos of Jackson with Bill Clinton and Diana Ross surface.
Photos of several high-profile men, including former President Bill Clinton and pop icon Michael Jackson, have been made public as part of the massive trove of Jeffrey Epstein-related documents released by the Department of Justice. Newly released photos of Clinton show the former president swimming with another woman and Maxwell. In another picture, Clinton can be seen holding a drink and standing next to Epstein. It's unclear where or when these photographs were taken, but they show further evidence of the closeness of the two men. Clinton has steadfastly denied any wrongdoing. A statement from Clinton's spokesperson said that the former president did not know about Epstein's crimes and had cut off the relationship before those crimes came to light. The statement also accused the Trump administration of, quote, shielding themselves from what comes next.
But here's what the documents actually say. Jackson visited Epstein's Palm Beach mansion once in November 2000 for financial advice. He was in a legal battle with Sony at the time. Journalist Roger Friedman was there that day. He reported Jackson and Epstein didn't even interact. The Black Book entry? It's not Jackson's personal number. It's linked to a business advisor named Samuel Jen, who was later disbarred. And then comes the smoking gun. Johanna Sjoberg, one of Epstein's victims, gave a deposition under oath. She was asked directly, "Did you ever have sexual contact with Michael Jackson?" No. Wow. "Did you ever give Michael Jackson a massage?" No. An Epstein victim, who had every reason to tell the truth, cleared Michael Jackson completely. Let me say that again because it's important. An actual victim of Epstein. Someone who suffered at his hands. Someone who has no reason to lie or protect anyone. She said under oath, where lying is a crime, that Michael Jackson did nothing. The FBI found nothing. Epstein's victim cleared him. He was acquitted 14 times. Corey Feldman said he was innocent, but the media still runs headlines like Michael Jackson and Epstein files. Why? Because Michael Jackson is dead. He can't defend himself. He can't sue. And as long as everyone's focused on him, they're not asking about the living predators who are in those files. The ones who did go to the island. The ones who are still protected. Michael Jackson didn't hurt children. He tried to protect them, and Hollywood destroyed him for it. So here's the truth. Michael Jackson wasn't a predator. He was a target. He created a safe space for children who were being abused by the real predators in Hollywood. Corey Feldman, who was abused by a Hollywood pedophile ring, said being with Michael Jackson brought him back to his innocence. When Feldman tried to give police the names of his abusers in 1993, they said, "We only want Michael Jackson." Jackson was investigated for over a decade. The FBI found nothing. He went to trial in 2005, acquitted on all.
Come on, man. And again, the headlines are still gonna run with the narratives.
I found nothing. He went to trial in 2005, acquitted on all 14 counts. His name appeared in the Epstein files. An Epstein victim cleared him under oath. But the media keeps dragging his name through the mud. Why? Because as long as everyone's talking about Michael Jackson, they're not talking about the pedophile ring that Corey Feldman tried to expose.
It's tragic and it's sad because at my age, I should not have so much loss of life. But yet, I feel like I'm a 75-year-old man because literally 70% of my friends are gone. 70% of them are gone, you know? That's insane.
It was a very rigorous emotional time, and also, you know, we were young people and teens at a time when drugs looked very different.
And it wasn't because they died because they were random knuckleheads who just did a lot of drugs. These kids were badly abused. Let's call it what it is. They were badly abused. I was badly abused, and that's why we did drugs. We did drugs because generally the abusers were the ones giving us the drugs. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had them in the first place.
Right.
It's nice to talk to somebody that was there.
Sure.
Because it's hard. It's hard to live life with everybody going, I don't know what he's talking about. Is he even telling the truth?
Right.
They're not talking about Barbara Walters telling Feldman he was damaging an entire industry when he spoke up.
Saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there. And
There was one gentleman in the industry who did not take advantage of you. He was not a pedophile. You said it was Michael Jackson.
Of all people.
They're not talking about the Hollywood elites who are still protected. Michael Jackson died in 2009. He can't defend himself anymore, but we can.
I do as many hospitals as I do concerts. I do as many orphanages as I do concerts. But because it's good news, the press don't cover it. They want bad news. But I do it from my heart. I don't do it to wave a flag and say, look at me. We bring bags of toys and posters and albums, and you should see how it transforms these kids. They jump up and down, and they're so happy. This is Lisa Marie and myself at a hospital in Budapest. And I saw this little kid. His name was Farkas. He was very sick. He was green in the face, but he had this glow and this sparkle in his eye. I asked this nurse, what's wrong with this kid? She said that he needs a liver. So I said, does that mean he's gonna die? She said, yes, he's gonna die unless he gets a liver. I said, I'm not gonna let him die, this sweet, sweet angel. No matter what it takes, I'm gonna find a liver for him. So I sent my organization around the world. We went all over the place, and it took a long time. Wow. And I said, I'm not giving up. I'm not gonna have this child die.
Because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And Michael Jackson was never proven guilty. In fact, he was proven innocent over and over and over again. Look, I know this is a tough topic. I know some of you still have doubts, and that's okay. You should question things. You should look at the evidence yourself.
And turned up at the office, and he was so generous with his time. He had a tour of the office, he met everyone, he signed albums, he chatted. He was just such a warm and happy man to be here. You know, he loves Guinness World Records. To meet us, I think, was as thrilling for him as it was for us to meet him. The office has been very busy today.
Wow.
Signing this is for you.
Thank you so much.
This is the best for you. This is everyone saying hello.
Thank you. This means the world to me, really does. Thank you so much.
And also
I'm a big fan, really.
Looking at Guinness World Records was being asked by Michael Jackson to present his award for Thriller at the World Music Awards.
But what I'm asking you to do is simple. Look at the facts. Not the headlines, not the gossip, the actual facts. A man was investigated for over a decade, and they found nothing. He went to trial and was found not guilty on every single charge. Victims of actual predators cleared him, and the people who accused him, their stories fell apart under examination. Drop a comment. Do you think Michael Jackson was framed to protect the real predators? Because the more you look at the evidence, the more obvious it becomes. Hollywood didn't destroy Michael Jackson because he was guilty. They destroyed him because he knew too much, and they couldn't let him talk. See you next time.
Like I said, even myself, I don't know the ins and outs of Michael Jackson's case or whatnot, but I just thought this was just very interesting to me, especially considering how it is Michael Jackson we're talking about here. And it's only until the last couple of days where I've actually started to really think about some of the stuff I remember like internalizing when I was young about this man and the alleged things that he did and whether he was innocent or not. And already this is even more just a reinforcement of, like, especially in our generation growing up, we're seeing all this Hollywood stuff going on. There's a reason why traditional media is dying. There's also a reason why even a lot of us these days are really distrusting in a lot of things, and to maybe to a fault in some aspects. But when you're seeing Epstein files and all the stuff going on, you're kind of just like, can you blame us? Can you blame us? And not just our generation. I feel like everyone's already kind of looking at everything sideways now. But anyways, look, you guys let me know. Let me know. I could be wrong. Guys, look, if you made this point in the video, comment on a yellow heart or hashtag flex for those guys that don't have emojis. Don't forget to like this video as well if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for those guys that are new. Hype the video, all that good stuff. Always does me a big favor. Bonus content on the Patreon, movie reactions, sitcoms, music from 80s, 90s classics, and even earlier. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, then I'll have some more videos that you may like that will pop up at the end of this one that you guys should definitely check out. But that being said, guys, I'm your boy JayFlex, and I'll see you wonderful people in the next one. Peace.